Welcome to Sci-Fi Stories. If you love stories of courage and mystery, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community.
By galactic standards, humans were categorized under physically unimpressive, average strength, moderate durability, no natural weapons worth cataloging. The Vraxian database even used the term prey-adjacent. Sarah Nguyen had read that file during her first week at Rexian Academy Station. She had laughed. Then 3 cycles later, she found out how wrong it was. It started in Maintenance Corridor 12B. The lower levels of the station were rarely visited by anyone who wasn't repairing coolant lines or hiding from someone bigger than them. Sarah was heading back from Xenobiology lab when she heard it. A low, broken rumble, not aggression, pain. She rounded the corner and froze. A young Vraxian lay against the wall, scales dulled, claws scraping uselessly at a deep abdominal wound. Dark blood pooled beneath him. He couldn't have been more than second-molt age, still technically a cub. Vraxians were apex predators from a high-gravity death world, steel-crushing jaws, retractable talons, muscle density that made most species nervous. This one was shaking, alone. He lifted his 3 eyes toward her. Confusion flickered there. Humans did not approach injured predators. That was survival rule 1 across 47 star systems. Sarah ignored it. She dropped to her knees. "Hey." "Stay with me," she said, already pulling the medfoam canister from her belt. His claws twitched. "You are not fleeing." "Nope," she replied. "I'm busy." She pressed the foam against the wound. It expanded instantly, sealing torn tissue. She injected analgesic gel, steady hands despite the blood. Her mother had once patched up her scraped knees the same way. Calm voice, steady touch. "It's okay," Sarah whispered. "I've got you." The cub went still. His breathing steadied. Then he did something unexpected. He leaned forward and pressed his snout gently against her shoulder. A low rumble vibrated through her bones. She would later learn it meant one word in cub language: safe. 3 days later, Sarah walked into the academy cafeteria and immediately sensed something was wrong. It was too quiet. 300 students, 40 species, all staring. Corin stood in the center of the Vraxian section, taller now that he wasn't bleeding out. 6 other cubs flanked him in symmetrical formation. When he saw her, his tail lifted. "Sarah," it wasn't a question. She glanced behind her. Yes." The cubs moved as one. They approached her in synchronized steps. Herbivore students shrank back. A crystalline shin flickered in anxious ultraviolet. Corin stopped in front of her. "You will sit with us." She blinked. "Oh. I usually sit with the herbivores. They scatter when we approach," a female cub observed. "You are too small to sit alone." "This is unacceptable." Before Sarah could protest, she found herself gently escorted to the Vraxian table, which was built for creatures weighing 3 times as much as her. She climbed onto the bench. 7 massive reptilian bodies arranged themselves around her in a protective arc. She muttered under her breath, "This is weird." Translator implants picked it up. Corin tilted his head. "Weird because you are human, because your species considers mine snack-sized." "Incorrect," Corin said firmly. "You stopped my bleeding when I could not." "You did not display fear response. You made pain stop." His rumble deepened. "Mother says this action establishes clutch bond." Sarah froze. "Clutch bond?" Another cub leaned forward. "You performed maternal duty, therefore you are clutch mother." The entire cafeteria leaned in. "I was just helping," Sarah insisted. "Yes," Corin agreed. "That is what clutch mothers do." Oh no. The food drones arrived. The Vraxians received enormous portions of charred synth meat. Sarah's tray held modest human rations. Before she could react, Corin pushed a third of his meat onto her plate. "You are undersized," he said gravely. "You require additional protein." Then Zix added hers. Then 3 more. Within seconds, Sarah's tray looked like it belonged to a competitive eating champion. "This is too much," she whispered. Consume gradually, Corin replied logically. Around them, the cafeteria buzzed in stunned murmurs. An instructor in the corner appeared to be trying very hard not to laugh. Sarah cautiously took a bite. Spicy, smoky, not bad. Corin's rumble intensified with satisfaction. She accepts offerings. Bond confirmed. I did not sign paperwork for this, Sarah muttered. Paperwork unnecessary, Zix replied. Over the next hour, Sarah learned 3 things. First, being adopted by Vraxian cubs meant never walking alone again. Second, they interpreted accidental bump as potential threat display. One unfortunate Kell student learned this when 3 cubs formed a defensive wedge in under 2 seconds. Third, cafeteria rights were apparently sacred. As they left, 7 towering reptilian shadows followed her through the corridor. "This is my life now, isn't it?" she asked. "Yes," Corin said simply. "You are Clutch Mother." She considered explaining human social boundaries. She considered clarifying that emergency medical aid did not equal adoption. Then Corin lightly pressed his snout to her shoulder again. Safe. That same rumble, not dominance, not obligation, trust. She exhaled. "Fine," she said. "But if I'm your Clutch Mother, you're all coming to my xenobiology study group." 7 tails thumped in synchronized approval. "And you're helping me pass finals." Corin nodded solemnly. Clutch supports Mother. Weeks passed. Sarah discovered that having 7 apex predators escort you across campus dramatically reduced harassment. She also discovered Vraxian cubs took tutoring very seriously. Their group projects became legendary. Their combined protective presence made even senior students think twice before causing trouble. Eventually, a rumor began spreading through Rexian Academy. Humans weren't prey adjacent. They were pack makers. They didn't need claws. They built loyalty instead. And loyalty, once given, was a far more dangerous weapon. One evening, as Sarah studied in the commons, Corin curled beside her chair. "You are still small," he observed. "I'm not growing anymore." He considered this deeply. "Then we will grow large enough for both of us," she laughed. Deal. Across the galaxy, humans were still categorized as physically weak. But in the halls of Rexian Academy, a quiet update circulated through student networks. Humans may lack natural weapons. However, they have an unusual ability to turn predators into family. And that, the galaxy was beginning to realize, was far more powerful.